Remember when posting on social media was fun? You could make a post online that all your friends can see and there wasn't a legion of advertisements you had to battle your way through, or generative AI slop that's gaslighting you into thinking that maybe Shrimp Jesus really is real. Where are my friends? What am I even looking at anymore? I wanted to experience that early social media magic again, but being online right now is pretty... So I decided to try it in real life. Using my 4 years of graphic design experience from undergrad, I made 3 different posters or posts asking 3 really important questions. You got any new music for me? What is the best restaurant in Portland? And what is the worst movie you've ever seen? I added some lines at the bottom for responses, slapped a pencil next to each poster so they can write a comment, and then the plan is to post them all around the streets of Portland, leave them up for a week, and then once I sift through the responses, I'm gonna try a recommendation from each poster. Let's postcraft.
All right, well, I just put like a whole bunch of posters all over the streets of Portland, and now it's just time to wait and find out what people write, see if they play along, and see if they don't write D's nuts all over it.
So I made a total of 12 posters, 4 of each type, and then posted them up on 4 different streets that I've seen around Portland with the most poster culture. Mississippi Street, 23rd, Hawthorne, and Division. The amount of poster culture I've seen on these streets is hot. It was the perfect place to make my posts. The poster game is pretty good in Portland. My friend just saw this poster, The Pee Pee Poo Poo Man, a new cult classic, showing one night only. Pee Pee Poo Poo Man? Only in Portland, I'm telling you. Leave a comment below if I should go check out what the Pee Pee Poo Poo Man is. After waiting for a week, I went back out and harvested the posters. Some posters were either taken down or covered up by new posters. Apparently, it's pretty competitive out there in the poster world. So I was able to salvage 8 of the 12 posters. 2 music posters, 4 movie posters, and 2 restaurant posters. Let's take a look at those comments.
All right, let's start with the music posters. This one had quite a few responses. I'm pretty stoked about it. Benson Boone, which is crossed out. Ween, Sam Shackleton, Ethan Mitchell, D's... What's next? Unexpect Igor, Vacation Manor. Yeah, loving all the comments and responses on this one. I also like, I don't know, do you see this comment here? I wrote, blow my little mind, and then somebody wrote down, I bet you'd like that. That's good, that's good. Here we also got a lot of responses. Honestly, I'm seeing some movies on here that aren't that bad actually. Sharknado's known for being like so bad it's good, you know? Army of Darkness, come on. We also got Wicked World 1991, very specific. Tom Popo, I don't know what that is, but that sounds interesting. I like this one, Old Dads, I hate Bill Burr. At least they're honest about their distaste. Anchorman 1 and 2, and they also wrote a frowny face. They really just dislike Anchorman, apparently. This poster has the most action on it, and I actually posted it right across the street from Baghdad Theater, so I think we got a lot of moviegoers in on this one. Jim 2, he's Jim again. I don't know if that's a real movie, but could be interesting. Buffalo 66 is gross. I appreciate you letting me know ahead of time what's going on. Rise of Skywalker. Cats, Freelance, Blink, and then they just wrote My Life. I'm sorry, man, that's tough. Walrus movie, okay. Your Mom's House? Is My Mom's House a movie? Does that even, you're thinking of Big Mama's House, actually. I think that's what you're thinking of. We also got some drawings on this poster. They put a hat on him, a little goatee, and what appears to be a fish swimming in his mouth, I don't know. All right, a few more movie recommendations. Gacy, you put kind of a neutral emoji here, so this is making me question if this is really the worst movie you've ever seen. Madam Wed, valid. And then check out this comment, this one's pretty in-depth. Tar is terrible. And then in parentheses, we got, my son only watched it stoned. So that raises an interesting question. Is it a bad movie in general, or is it bad because your son was watching it stoned? Is he a reliable narrator in this regard? Plus, if he enjoys watching it stoned, then that means it probably is at least somewhat good, right? For him to enjoy it in that state? I don't know. I don't know how to decipher that one. All right, let's move on to restaurants. Fish and Rice. I appreciate the little fish drawing here to just kind of get me into the context of what this restaurant is going for. Oma's, and then there's an arrow pointing that way because this poster happened to be across the street from Oma's. Your Place 6 p.m. with a little winky face. That's cute. That's cute, Portland. That's a nice comment. I like that. You guys are witty. All right, and then this is the last poster. There's kind of a lot going on in this one. It's simultaneously not a lot. I want to draw your attention to this comment here. It says, I want to know too, new to PDX. This person also wants to know what the best restaurants are. Unfortunately, however, there's only one response. It's the Burrieria La Plaza. And then we got some additional comments to add flair to the poster. Pizza with a little heart emoji, and then burger. We got some burger love. And then we have another question down here, which I love. Who likes celery? Again, I love that we're asking the big questions here, but I'm sad that not a lot of people responded to this one. So, yeah, you know what? You win some, you lose some.
All right, now that we got some good comments, it's time to take the people of Portland up on their recommendations. Let's start with food. There weren't too many food choices, but I zeroed in on this Malaysian food restaurant called Oma's. I've passed by this place many times before, but just never really got around to trying it. One of my favorite things about this place is that it has a sign above the building with a Malaysian grandma just like... So cute, I love it. The interesting thing is that the poster that suggested Oma's was actually posted directly across the street. Could it have been the manager of Oma's that put it on the poster? It's the perfect crime and the kind of criminal behavior I respect, so I chose Oma's. The inside of the restaurant has this really funky vibe to it. It's like grandma's florals, but also discotheque. Menu looked crazy as well. It's definitely on the pricier side, just so you know what you're getting into. They even have this coursed meal that features a whole bunch of their stuff, and even a Fruity Pebbles Rice Krispie treat with sticky rice mango ice cream. Gas, I imagine. I didn't actually try it. We started off with the roti canai, which is like this Malaysian flatbread that's laminated like a layered pastry. Listen, this was actually crazy. The textures of it were incredible. It had this crispy outer layer and then just this soft peel apart inside. It was so chewy and the texture was just perfect. And then you dip that in the curry sauce. Insane. I have never had anything like it. It was incredible. For our main dishes, we got the wonton mee, which was this noodle dish with wontons. Surprise. It's got chewy nudes and pork belly. We even got the tamarind mala fried chicken, which was a bunch of sweet and savory fried chicken with coconut rice and these green herbs. These dishes were seriously incredible. You could really taste the care and attention that went into each aspect of the food. From the sauce or seasoning of the meat to the garnishes to the chewy nudes. It was so clear just how much craft went into it. Honestly, this place is something special. I can't say I've had Malaysian food that often, but these flavor profiles were amazing. My wife and I were so glad that we checked it out. We're definitely going to go in the future. And to the commenter who put down Oma's, I bestow upon you the good job for recommending a fantastic restaurant, even if you are the owner shamelessly promoting yourself on someone's poster award. Clap for the commenter, everyone.
Benson Boone. What does Benson Boone sound like? Oof. I guess that makes sense why they crossed it out. Just for the sake of being thorough, let's just check out D's Nuts. Okay, there's a lot of D's Nuts. Oh, there is an artist. D's Nuts. It's not spelled the same way though. I'm not falling for that. I'm not falling for that. All right, next artist. Billy Martin. It's kind of like a soft indie rock. Really pretty instrumentation. Okay, it's a sweet vibe. I like that. All right, Unexpect. Oh, this is a little bit of old stuff. Only one album from 2006. This album is called In a Flesh Aquarium. Whoa. It's like very like gaudy, like haunted mansion kind of piano music. All right, we got some drums coming in. Oh, it's metal. This is the kind of thing I'd expect a Portlander to listen to. Oh, there's the guitars. The vocals on this are crazy. You're getting like growly whispers in one ear, and then there's like one woman shouting, and then there's like a guy growling over there. This is pretty wild. It's like a metal band playing in the Haunted Mansion ride. I'd say give it a shot if you're into that kind of vibe. All right, we got Igor. Igor, uh-oh. This looks like, oh yeah, this is some metal. This looks like some grimy, creepy metal. The song's called Headbutt. This sounds kind of similar to Unexpect. Ooh, fast riffs. Sounds like somebody playing piano in the Haunted Mansion, and then they're just there with the guitars like... The choir comes in. Oh. Oh, that's pretty heavy. Okay. If you want some gaudy sounding like metal with some pretty heavy riffs, Igor is pretty good. All right, what does the Strike sound like? Listen to The Getaway. It's got kind of like an 80s like night drive music kind of vibe going on. Ooh, the instrumentation on this is nice. Oh, yeah, you got some of those like reverby 80s guitars. Ooh, that's nice. Got some big synths. That's good, I like that. All right, next poster. Squeeze, what does Squeeze sound like? Two dudes, okay, I like the two dude vibe. Oh, this is some 80s music. Okay, I'm listening to Tempted. It's got a little funky vibe to it. Boop, 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 boop. It's kind of got some like cheeky lyrics. Oh, I think I've heard this song before. Oh, that's cool. All right, then we got Jenny Don'ts and the Spurs. Oh man. Oh, this looks like some rockabilly. Oh, some heavy guitar. Bass is going crazy. Got those Western guitars. We're just riding a horse. We got our 6-shooter right here. About to rob a train. Oof, yeah, okay. All right, after much deliberation of the music, I'm walking away with two artists that I've never really listened to before that I do like. Billy Martin is a vibe that I'm feeling right now. She's like a very kind of like soft, sort of singer-songwriter, indie rock kind of thing. Feels like very good fall music, which we're leading right into the fall. That would be good. And then The Strike. The Strike has this like throwback 80s power rock kind of vibe to it. Is power rock the right word? It just feels very righteous. It's very poppy, but it also doesn't really feel pandering either. It just feels like these are good musicians, a good singer, and they're just doing some solid music. All right, you two commenters, you get the Good New Music Recommendation Award. But in third place, we're gonna sneak in whoever commented Unexpect and Igor, because that was a lot of fun to listen to. It's not quite my vibe, but if you're into it, that is the vibe. Like, you could tell this was the same person.
Now, it was at this point in the journey when I needed somebody random from the streets of Portland to recommend to me a movie so bad, perhaps you could even say the worst movie they've ever seen, so that it could become the worst movie that I've ever seen. Now, there were a lot of submissions for this one, so I really had to narrow it down. I vetted through the movies, took a look at some scores and the sort of general vibe around them. I started to notice that there's a lot of movies on here that aren't really that bad. Anchorman 1 and 2? Really? Brother, I just don't think you like comedies. And if you didn't like the first one so much, explain to me why you watched the second one, man. There was another movie on the list called Tom Popo. That one sounded interesting. And it turns out it's this Japanese film from the 80s that really tries to like do their own version of a spaghetti Western, and they called it a ramen Western. And it's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think you just don't have a great palate for film, my guy. That movie sounds awesome. I'm definitely checking that out in the future, but that's not the point. We're here for the worst movie. Finally, I narrowed it down to Cats 2019. I've heard terrible things about this movie. Whenever I look at pictures of it, I get a very uncomfortable feeling in my gut. And it's got a 19% on Rotten Tomatoes, so I thought it was a safe bet. Now, I've never seen the musical before, and I know a lot of people like it, but to see it transformed into this CGI homunculus, that is an affront to the law of nature. I gotta say, from a visual perspective alone, this movie is wild. These tall, skinny, humanoid cats sleazing around everywhere is like 2 degrees off from being a horror film. I never quite imagined that our technological advancements and abilities would ever lead to a CGI Rebel Wilson cat scratching her crotch and a James Corden cat named Bustifer Jones. This movie is truly a spectacle in an uncanny way. From the way the movie opens with the cat face in the sky, to the way the evil Idris Elba cat teleports around by yelling, "Meow!" The biggest conundrum really is with the story. So basically, the story follows these cats, Jellicle cats they're called, which are like this magical hybrid of cats or something. It really, most of the movie is just introducing the types of cats, what they do, what they're like. You got the stray cats, you got the fat Gumby cats, you got the Jason Derulo cats. And then you got the Queen Jellicle cat named Old Deuteronomy, who chooses one cat every year at the ball to be sacrificed by sending them into space. You know, just magical cat behavior. I missed that part of the cat lore. Would Crookshanks agree with this? Wow. Yeah, this is a bad movie. And I think it's a pretty decently fun bad movie, too. I know people love the musical, and that's totally fine, but you know, there are some things that aren't meant to be adapted onto the screen. The dark color palette to this film, with all these slender humanoid cats prancing around everywhere, it really is fever dream-like. If you're down to watch something visually bizarre with a lot of gigantic actors who have now been turned half cat, half human via the machine from The Fly, then you should check it out. And if you don't really care for musicals like my wife, then you will absolutely hate this movie. You will hate it, and you might even hate cats afterward, like actual cats. You might start looking at your own cat and then just seeing James Corden. And nobody wants that. Ever. So the question is, did my social media in real life experiment work? Honestly, I think it did. While really the main component that's missing from this is the sharing of some kind of identity, it was more of an anonymous thing, it was still super cool to have random people contribute to something and explore these things that didn't come from some algorithm, but people who decided to engage with these posters. Somewhere out in Portland, there is a person who wrote down cats on my poster, which I then watched, and now I want to hunt them down and destroy them. No, I'm just kidding. It was a fun time. I really appreciated the interactivity with my own community in this experiment. More than ever, online spaces are not as genuine as they used to be. In the early days of the internet, I feel like there was just so much more capacity for just doing things for the fun of it. There weren't these marketing pushes or all these incentives to have numbers go up. People were just making posts, and if you liked it, you liked it. Now, behind every ad, behind every brand account, behind every algorithm, behind every funny comment, there's this underlying ulterior motive of trying to get the most engagement and the most attention. These days on the internet, it's really hard to come across something like truly genuine, but when you do, I think it really sticks out now. That's the sort of thing that I wanted to get out of this experiment. What I loved about the people who commented on my posters is that all of the responses were genuine. Nobody knew this was going to be made into a video. Nobody had anything to gain from writing a comment. Nobody could even really put down their handle for any credit, except for Rich from San Diego, that attention-seeking glutton. The people who wrote on these posters were there for the fun of it, so that others could have fun reading it too, and so that I could have fun reviewing it. Thanks for commenting on my posters, Portland. Y'all got good taste. Thanks for watching, everybody. Let me know if I should put up more posters around Portland. Next video, I'm gonna be doing something pretty interesting with dice, so if that sounds interesting to you, consider subscribing. And yeah, stay safe online. Spooky season's coming, and that's about it. Peace.